Good morning and happy Shabbata. Rabawana Tawabayaha Bana Alatawaba here with language of the Ibarayama, the language of creation. We are going to first find out why the people were called the Ibarayama. From who did the name come? We are going to first read Barashata 10, verse 21, which is Exodus 10. Sorry, it is Genesis 10, verse 21. And it says in the language of the Ibrayama, Walashama yalada gamahawa abaya kalabana ya ibara achaya yapata hagadawala. In English, it is just saying, and to Shama also, the father of all the children of Ibara, the brother of Yapata, the elder, even to him were children born. Who then is this Ibara who is introduced ahead of all the children of Shama? In Barashata 11 verse 15, which is Genesis 11 verse 15, it says, Wayachaya Shalaha Acharaya Hawalayadawa Ata Ibara Shalasha Shanayama Warabai Ma'awata Shanaha Wayawalada Vanayama Wabanawata. And in English it is saying, and Shalaha lived after he begat Ibara 403 years and begat other sons and daughters. The background is that before the floods, the man Naha had three sons, Chaama, Shama, and Yapaha, in the order of their fame. Chaama was the youngest, and he was the father of Kawasha, Matazarayama, Pahawata, and Kanaina. And his son Kawasha begat Namarada, who began to be a might hunter before Yahweh in the earth. And his kingdom was Babala of the Kashadayama, and Yapaha, their eldest brother, bore sons Gamara, Magawaga, Madai, Yawana, Tawabala, Mashaka, and Tarayasa. And his son Gamara begat Ashakanaza, who is the progenitor of the people that are now in Israel and are called Jews and Hebrews. Ironically, they call themselves Yahudim and Ivrit. So, Shama, who is the second in everything, bore sons Iyalama, Arapakashada, Ashawara, Lawada, and Arama. And his son Arapakashada begat Shalaha. Shalaha had a son Ibara, who is the man under review, from who the name Ibarayama comes from. And Ibara had two sons, Yakatana and Palaga. And Palaga begat Sarawaga. Sarawaga begat Nachawara. Nachawara begat Taraha, who became a mighty prince and commander-in-chief of the army of Namarada, king of Babalakashadayama. Taraha had two sons, Abarama and Charana. And Abarama had a son, Yashamayala. Later on, he became Abarahama, and he had another son, Yatazachaka. Yatazachaka begat Ishawa and Yaikava. And Yaikava was the father of Ra'awabana, Shamaiwana, Lawaya, Yahawada, Dana, Napatalaya, Gada, Ashara, Yashashakara, Zabalawana, Yawasapa, and Vanayamayana. And Yawasapa is the man who was sold by his brothers to Matazarayama, where he became king or ruler after telling the dream of Paraiha, the king of Matazarayama. That is the lineage who are called the Ibarayama. Here they are called Banaya Ibara, or children of Ibara. One was called Ibaraya, and if she was a woman, she was called Ibarayata. This is the name which the Ashkenazi in the land we call Israel have chosen to be the name of their language, and they don't call it Ibarayata because they are European, they call it Ivrit. When there were many or all of them, they were called Ibarayama. I guess that's where the Muslim get the name Ibrahim. Now, this was their language. Now, people run with the symbols. They are useless without the sounds. This language is a sound-driven language. What is important here are the sounds. The symbols, you can create any for yourself. And it is just for lack of commonality that we choose to use the same symbols that others use, so that what we write others can also read. What others read we can also what others write we can also read. All these things which they have brought in, such as Aleph, Bet, Gimel, they are useless. The important thing are the sounds, namely a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, ka, ra, sha, and ta. There are no O, U, or E sounds, as you have seen. There are also no F, V, and J sounds. Like we said, any symbols can be used. Although people run with these symbols, they are not important. What is important are the sounds. So the Ibarayama, after some time, adopted the way the Syrians wrote their sounds. Of course, Syrians had other sounds, but the Ibarayama or the Yasharala only picked those sounds that corresponded to those in the language of Alahayama. So from right to left, you have A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, and Ta. In the second row, you have Ya, beginning Ka, ending Ka. La, beginning Ma, ending Ma. Beginning Na, ending Na. And Sa. Then you have in the last row E, beginning Pa, ending Pa. Beginning Taza, ending Taza. Beginning Ka, Ka, Ra, Sha, and Ta. Same sounds, but a little bit expanded, but different symbols. I don't like calling them letters. So as you can see, when they found from other nations names or words with E, they changed to A. V, they changed to Ba. F, they changed to Pa. O, they changed to Wa. And U, they also changed to Wa. There was no J sound. It's very recent, and it is less than 700 years. There is a way in which you speak that literally introduces new letters in the language of the Ibarayama. So when you say Yahudim, for example, you have introduced D, you have introduced U, you have introduced H, you have introduced M, which are not there. The real way of pronouncing it is Yahawadayama. Okay? When you have a name such as Mashiach, you have introduced S, you have introduced H, you have introduced C, and so on and so forth. It is Mashayaha. Any of this way of dealing with the language of the Ibarayama is adulteration of their language, which is the language of Alahayama. It is the language of creation. There were no such sounds as glee, gru, br, blue, no, cla, no. Now, when you set yourself to know the names in the Bible and where they came from, why they changed, you're going to be faced with two words, translation and transliteration. Translation, as you know, is conveyance of written or spoken content from a source language into an equivalent target language while preserving original meaning, tone, and intent. Translation, example of translation is translation of Nachahasha, in the language of the Ibrahima to snake in English, or snake in English to Nachahasha in the language of the Ibrahima, because they mean the same. They are two different words only because they are in two different languages. Otherwise, they mean the same. Same with Lanawacha and rest. Now, such action words, pronouns, and some nouns can be changed or translated or translated, yes. But a proper noun, which is a name of a person, should never be translated. You are going to write, people drunk on too much education, writing articles about how a name can be translated, and even giving practical examples. Well, even if my name has a meaning in my language, it cannot be translated in another languages to mean the same thing. It's not possible. For example, if I am Kalebwe in my country and I go to the United Kingdom and I tell them, oh, my name is Kalebwe, and my name means sweet potato leaves, they cannot turn around and call me sweet potato leaves. That's inconceivable. It's an insult. As a joke, yes, but they cannot dare write me in a report as sweet potato leaves. There are also other confusions which are brought in by Europeans where they say Mary is the same as Maria. It is not. If you have Mary Scott and they went somewhere and a visa had to be prepared for them, no one would write their name as Maria Scott. They will write it the way they write their name as Mary Scott. There are also these confusions in Europe where you say Tiago is the same as James. It is not. Tiago is different from James. The Portuguese should just say we don't have a name James. And the English should just say that they don't have a name Tiago. Guillermo and William are two different words and two different names. So that's it. Why are names in the Bible different from the original? Names in the Bible differ from original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek scriptures primarily due to transliteration. What is transliteration? A process of representing text from one writing system or alphabet into another, focusing on mapping letters phonetically to help readers pronounce foreign words. Unlike translation, it conveys the sound rather than the meaning. So this process preoccupies itself with delivering the sound of the name. This is what should be applied to uh, proper nouns, provided the two languages are not do not share the same alphabet. There should be no transliteration in two languages which share the same alphabet. It's inconceivable. I'm going to give you a little story which we should carry forward. A person is from Congo, where there are no Zulus, and reads that the Zulus of South Africa have a name, Sibongile. He likes the sound. He checks the meaning. It is also good. It means we are thankful. Oh, this is a nice name. I'm going to give it to my daughter. And he gives it to his daughter. Of course, his kinsmen are going to ask, where did you get that name? And it's going to say, oh, this is a Zulu name, and it means I'm thankful. We are thankful. Oh, it's a good one. He has a right to explain his action using the Zulu language. Why? Because he has faithfully reproduced their name. If he went and called her name Siwongola instead, he cannot explain his action calling in the Zulu language because this is neither Siwongile nor a Zulu word. It is fraud. This is the same attitude we must have when, for example, we are told the name John, which they have put in the Bible anyway, originates from the Hebrew name Yohanan, meaning Yahweh has been gracious or God is gracious. Wait a minute. John and Yohanan are two different words. One has 7 letters, the other one has 4. One has 2 A's, the other one has none. One has 2 N's, the other one has 1. One begins with Y, the other one begins with J. Come on. Between J and N of John, where is Yahweh? Between J and N of John, where is gracious? Between J and N of John, where is God? None. Even between Y and N of Yohanan, where is Yahweh? Where is God? Where is gracious? There is none. So we are being scammed. We are being taken for a ride. Just ask them. It is very important. Just show me this Yohanan and put it in the Bible because I want to be reading the correct thing. Then, presto, they will show you in 2 Kings 25 verse 23, it says Jonan. Come on. You said Yonan. Here there is Jonan. You said Yohanan. Here there is Jonan. Are they the same? They are not the same. Come on. I'm frustrated. Just give me the original language text so that I'll find myself a way to read it because I want to be reading the correct things. And there they give you, it is not Yohanan, it is not Jonan, it is not John. It is Yahweh Chaanana. And Yahweh Chaanana does not mean God is gracious. It does not mean Yahweh has been gracious. No. Yahweh Chaanana means Yahweh is kind. The first 3 letters of Yahweh Chaanana are the first 3 letters of the name of the Most High, Yahweh. And Chaanana is saying is kind. And the name they actually removed to put John is Yahweh Chaana, which means the kindness of Yahweh, as follows. So now they replaced Yahweh Chaana for a prophet who is so important, whose ministry is so big. with John, a troublesome name of Europe. It is a mockery of the man Yahweh Chana and a mockery of his ministry. It is just as bad as the woman who had his head cut off. John, at some point, even means toilet. At another point, it even means a very troublesome fellow. At another point, it even means a regular customer of prostitutes. We know that our parents loved the Bible and they got names from the Bible and gave us. But be careful, Europeans could have given you names of demons because there is no way. Most names which are given to our children, you'll find that boys or girls with the same name behave the same way. Moreover, the words that are in the scriptures, such as Yahweh Chana, Yahweh Shai, Yashawai, Mashaha, Aharana, Marayama, and others, are a way in which the Most High tells the story of his dealing with us. There are three ways: by what he said, which has been translated, which has been put into text, by the stories of his servants, and also by the names. Look at the name play between the one you call Moses and the one you call Joshua and the Savior. Look at the name play. There is a lot of revelation in these names. You remove them, you shut down a lot of revelation. Didn't the Ibarayama change the names from other nations? They did. If you are discerning, you will see that they did. For example, in 2 Kings 25 verse 7, you find a woman called Jezebel. It is a transliteration, or it is a replacement of the name which the Ibrahim called her Ayazabala. And Ayazabala means where is Al-Hayama. We believe that this name was not her given name. This name was a name which the Ibrahim replaced her given name with, because they didn't want to mention her Tyrus or Tyre name. Her father was a king in Tyre, and they worshipped Baala, and she introduced the worship of Baala in Yashara Allah. In Numbers 25, 6 to 15, you are going to find a woman called Cosby. She is not Cosby, she is actually Kazabaya. And Kazabaya means deceitful or a liar. And Europeans have added, because they think that black people love voluptuous women, they have put also voluptuous. There is no way a father who has been waiting for a child for many months to come out, she just comes out and names her deceitful, liar, voluptuous. It's not possible. This name must have been given to her in lieu of her given name, because she was a Midianite, a princess of Midian, and they worshipped deities which were different from our Allahayam. Beelzebub in Mark 3 verse 22, Matthew 12 verse 24 and 27, 2 Kings 1, 2, 3, 6 and 16, is not actually Beelzebub. He is Bailazabawaba. Bailazabawaba is saying chief fly. Obviously, the Akarawana, of who it is said this was their Alhayama, did not call their deity chief fly. You're not telling me they did? Of course they didn't. No one can start worshipping a fly. This name was given to this deity by the children of Yasharala because they do not mention names of other Alahayama. That's the way they did it. One reason, and the biggest reason why they did that to all the names of other nations, was because there is a commandment which is idolatry related, a safeguard against idolatry, which says, "And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect and make no mention of the name of other Alahayama, neither let it be heard out of your lips." Shamawata 23 verse 13, or Exodus 23 verse 13. This is how they did it. If they received a name called Zambia, they cannot write Zambia. They don't have sounds for Zambia in their text. So they were going to write it Zamabaya'a. What has happened? If Zambia had a meaning, it is dropped. Zamabaya'a does not share that meaning. If Zambia had a deity in it, built in the name, it is dropped. Zamabaya'a does not share that Alahayama or deity. So Zamabaya'a is Kadawasha and safe to be called and mentioned without offending the commandment. They were helped by their limited sound set, to which they could neither add nor subtract, because this is not their language. This is the language of the Most High. Why then did the Europeans change the names of the Ibarayama and that of Alahayama in the Bible? First of all, you should understand that the name system of the Ibarayama is not divorced from their day-to-day language. They didn't have names which meant nothing, which they gave to their children. No, no, no. When they gave their children names, they spoke something using their day-to-day language. And for the most part, their names praised Alahayama. And Europeans hate the Alahayama of the Ibarayama. They also hate the Ibarayama. Now, this hatred is not imagined, made up, or exaggerated. It is historical, it is documented, and it is biblical. The Europeans also want the whole world to worship their deities. So they have put their deities in the scriptures. And they also have put themselves in the scriptures. Why didn't they just let go of the scriptures? They couldn't let go of the scriptures. They know that the scriptures are dangerous. They hate the scriptures. So they own the scriptures so they can decide what the scriptures say, so that the scriptures do not say what they are supposed to say, which saves them, because it gives the owners of the scripture cases, and it accrues the owners of the scriptures blessings to them. Does that make sense? Shalom.